that was by design. He was literally trying to weed people out because he wanted to set his culture. But, now as a 42-year-old looking back on everything, that was the best thing that happened to me because, number one, it set a foundation for the rest of my career. Again, like I told you before, he was the greatest coach I've ever been around, taught me the most about the game of football. And I always say that football has a lot of life lessons to it. So for me, it was, if I can survive that, I can deal with anything.
Yeah.
And for me, it's, every player craves structure, discipline, and most importantly, players want coaches that's going to put them in the best position to succeed. That's what he's done. Now, It's not made for everybody. Not everybody can handle it. We've seen other really good players going to New England and fizzle out because it's just not everybody has the DNA in order to thrive up there. But I have no qualms about Bill Belichick. I think that was the best thing that happened for me at that point in my career.
Yeah. I should have asked you this in the beginning, but take me back to your draft day experience when you got that call from New England. What was that like?
Yeah, man. I spent my draft day back home in Richmond, Virginia. I was at my aunt's house. I had all my family. My college teammates came down, my friends from high school, a whole bunch of people. And we're watching the draft, and we see the Patriots trade up to number 17 with the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah. Now, to go back, the Patriots were my last visit before the draft. So I was with them all day. And so when they traded up, I'm thinking in my head, okay, guys, this is it. This is happening. And when the commissioner, Commissioner Tagliabue announced my name, man, it was unreal, man, because all the hard work you put in high school, college, my parents, all the sacrifices they made and all the different coaches, man, who had a part in me getting to that point. I think all the emotions just hit you at one point, man. So that's why I always love draft day, because I love seeing young men most vulnerable at that point, You know what I mean? Because they finally realized that, man, all the hard work paid off. So, and I was the same way.
Yeah. So now, take me to the reaction when you guys won your first Super Bowl, when you won your first trophy. What was that like, and how, and the experience, and tell me about that. When you won the first Super Bowl.
Yeah, man, it was always, when people ask me what was it like, in New England when you won those two Super Bowls, and I always said that it was like being in a dark tunnel. It was literally like being in a dark tunnel, because when you win or when you lose, Coach Belichick is the same. He's the same. He's tough. He's hard. And that's why he's so good. So during that 2001 year, he's doing, just grinding. And I mean, we were grinding all the way the week leading up to the Super Bowl. We probably had our hardest week of practice leading up to that game against the St. Louis Rams in Super Bowl 36. And, you play the game, and we win on the last second field goal by Adam Vinatieri. And then at that point, that's when you see the light. That's when you finally saw the light as a player, when the confetti is hitting your head. And that's the most accurate way I can describe it, because there's really no other way to really describe it, to be honest with you.
And in the other Super Bowl you won, was it the same? Was it the same mindset? Was it the same mindset that you were going? Obviously, by winning the first Super Bowl, you guys had the same mindset winning the other one, right? So,
absolutely. Each year is different. That was the one thing Coach Belichick always used to tell us, that each year, each team is different. That's what a lot of teams in the NFL get caught up with. A lot now is, we're bringing our guys back. No, every year is different. You don't know what's going to happen, but in 2003, man, we were a really good team. Tom Brady had, at that point, he was he was a star in the National Football League at that point. We had a lot of really good players on our team, particularly on defense. We were really good on defense. And, man, we played the Carolina Panthers. That team was good. That was a good team, and it was a back-and-forth type of thing. And then, once again, Adam Vinatieri, pulled it through again. But it was the same thing. It was like Groundhog's Day because we were grinding the whole year, and you didn't see the light until the confetti hit. So it was pretty much the same type of experience, even though it was a different team.
Yeah. So I got to ask you this because I've been getting this question a lot from my other friends, but I just want to clear the air because I don't think this was part. But everybody keeps saying these 2 championships you guys won was tainted because of the Spygate. I'm just trying to clear the air. I don't know.
Spygate happened after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I wasn't even on the team when the whole Spygate allegations came about or anything like that. And I can just tell you, even though I wasn't on the team with the whole Spygate allegations, let me say this. In order, people don't understand the grind and everything that goes into going out there and playing a game.
Right.
Even if you do have somebody plays, that doesn't mean you're going to go out there and execute or stop them. That means nothing. So for people to say, Spygate, you still got to go out there and play on the field. Mm-hmm. You still got to go out there and beat your man one-on-one on the field because that's what football is all about. Football is about, can I impose my will on the guy across from me? When you boil it all down, take the scheme, take everything away, can I impose my will on you? And you can't take that away from any team, any player.
Right. Yeah. So now, going towards your career, did you want to stay with the Patriots throughout the whole career, or was it tough leaving them and going to a different team, or did you want to at first to stay there for your whole career?
Oh, absolutely. Before my last year in 2003, we were very close to finalizing a contract. We just couldn't get over the hump, so we decided, both parties decided that we weren't going to negotiate during the season. We're going to wait till after the season. I had a really good year that year, and once we got past the season, I had a feeling. They had a certain price. They had a certain price for me set, and I wanted to test the market. So we just couldn't agree on the numbers, and but that's just the business of football, man. Is sometimes these type of things happen, and I end up moving on to Detroit Lions and signing a really good deal, and but I always wanted to be with New England, but sometimes the business of football can get in the way of that.
Yeah, so take me. So how was that experience playing with the Lions and bringing that Super Bowl experience to Detroit? What was that like? What was that experience like in Detroit?
Oh man, when if I'm talking about the Patriots being on the mountain, the Lions were in the valley.
Yeah,
it's the Lions. When I came there, they were just leaving cap hell, is what they call it, because they were in so much. They were just strapped. For a couple of years, they basically dug themselves out of it and had the most cap space of any team in the league. They were a young team. They had some talented players, but really no direction. And so I just figured, you know what? With free agency, the deal that they offered, the opportunity to try to maybe help a team on the uprise, this would be a great place for me. But I would say the one thing that as a player, good coaching from bad coaching. And so I went from great coaching, great organization, to an organization on a total opposite end. And if I had to go back and revisit everything that happened, I would take a lesser deal with New England than have the deal I had with Detroit, because losing for 4 years, man, it was Well, it takes its toll on you.
So now let me ask you this: going back to the AFC East and playing for the Jets and playing against your former team, what was that like, battling your former team?
Yeah, so the way that it went down was my last year in Detroit. I ended up switching positions to tackle, which a lot of people thought I couldn't do, but I did it really well, and I did it so well that I got 8 offers in free agency after 2008. And so the team that was the most aggressive was the New York Jets, who at the time had Eric Mangini, who I was with the New England Patriots. So that was my first and my only visit, because I knew that with everything that happened in Detroit, I wanted to be in a system that I was very familiar with and that I knew I could thrive. And Eric brought kind of that New England culture, New England system, and that's what I wanted to get back to. And we had, I had 3 really good years with the Jets. Obviously, we didn't, get it done with Eric Mangini my first year there. But playing against the Patriots, playing against them twice a year, it was fun. It was fun because, the coaches know you, players, players, people within the organization. And it was just fun going against them. They beat us, we beat them. Patriots hate the Jets, Jets hate the Patriots. So it was just a fun rivalry to be a part of.
Yeah. So I got to ask you this before we go any further. Someone brought I want to mention this to you. So explain to me. Actually, I had the opportunity to interview Colette Smith. She was the first African, I think, American women's coach to be on the Jets in 2017. So I want to get your reaction to like how women's have evolved, and they're getting a lot of opportunities to be coaching male sports too, which is an awesome thing. And what is explain to me how it has evolved over the years?
Well, I think football players just want to be coached. If you can get me better, make me better as a football player, I don't care if you're a man, woman, black, white, green, whatever. As long as you know what you're talking about and can put players in the best position to go out there and succeed, it doesn't matter. I know some people will think, it's just a ploy, it's just a tactic to have a woman. Well, guess what? There are a lot of men, a lot of coaches that's never played football. I've come across during my playing career, my 12-year playing career, coaches who've never played. So to me, that doesn't matter. If you know what you're talking about and you know how to put guys in positions to win, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. So I want to talk about Tom Brady here, man. Still unbelievable the way he's going. And explain to me when you were with teammates with him and what he brought to the team and what was his mindset and what was it like blocking for him throughout your career? So,
yeah, listen, Tom was great. The one thing about Tom is he's so down to earth, even to this day. Tom is really, with all the celebrity and everything, all the accolades, still one of the most down-to-earth guys you could ever come across. And during the early days, man, this is a guy that, he used to just hang out with the offensive line. He knew where his bread was buttered at.
Yeah.
Hung out with the big guys, and but the guy just commanded respect. The way you command respect is about how you go about your business. And that's the one thing about Tom that, he really set a standard for himself about how he worked, his work ethic, his study habits, all those little things that guys look at.
Right.
And, you earn the trust of the guys around you. And then ultimately you got to go out on the field and produce. And that's what he did, particularly in the clutch. We all know what Tom, if Tom has the ball 2 minutes, we're all thinking the same thing. Oh, Tom's going to pull it out. Well, that's, he's done that time and time again. And, when I played with him, I felt like we weren't going to lose. I felt like we weren't going to lose because that's how competitive he is.
So now, it's unbelievable the way he's playing still. And so what do you think how many more years do you think he still has left in the tank? Because he has a new opportunity, obviously, now with a new team with Tampa.
Well, listen, I think you can never predict injuries, things that happen, freak things happen like that. But Tom, he takes really good care of his body. Obviously, you've heard of the TB12, his TB12 deal. Lifestyle brand. He's really focused on that. And the one thing about Tampa Bay, they've really surrounded him with a lot of talent. The one complaint that people have had about New England is, they feel like Tom didn't have the personnel, particularly when you're 42. As great as we think Tom is, I mean, he's still 42.
Yeah.
Okay, so Father Time catches up with everyone. And the older you get, sometimes you're not able to do the things that you used to do. And, in Tampa's case, they got 2 Pro Bowl wide receivers. You get Gronk is down there. O.J. Howard, Tyler Brady. I think it's Tyler Brady. I believe that's his name.
Cameron Brady. Yeah.
Cameron Brady. Excuse me.
Oh, and Godwin too. Chris Godwin.
Oh yeah, I said the 2 wide receivers.
Yeah.
And Ronald Jones in the backfield. So they have a lot of weapons for him on offense, and that's what you got to do with the older quarterback is surround him with playmakers, and Tampa Bay has that.
Yeah. If you don't mind, do you still, if you can reach out to Tom Brady, I'm commenting on my podcast show.
What's that? Reach out to Tom Brady?
Yeah.
I see what I can do, man. I see what I can do.
Thank you. That would be awesome. But going forward now, so after you retired, so now you do stuff at ESPN, obviously, and my favorite show in the morning is Get Up. I love that show, and I love when you're on there. You do a great job with that. So how is it like working with them, the Get Up crew and ESPN now?
Well, it's great, man. First of all, Mike Greenberg is really good. I always say part of the key to having a really good show is you got to have a really good point guard. And so, Mike Greenberg is really good at being a point guard and distributing, make sure the show flows smoothly and the guys are comfortable. And I think that the great thing about Get Up is they allow you to just be you. You don't have to try to be anybody else. They want your personality to shine. That's why, guys like myself and Marcus Spears and Ryan Clark and, so on and so forth, we're allowed to just be ourselves. And that, I think it resonates with fans out there. So I have fun doing the show, along with First Take and other shows on, ESPN. And it's really been good. This is my 9th year at ESPN, and it's been a great transition.
So speaking of First Take, what are your thoughts? I mean, obviously Stephen A. Smith is one of the best in the sports industry, but sometimes he gets on my nerves because I'm a Cowboy fan. He always hates on my Cowboys. But what's it like working with Stephen A. Smith? And he always brings that energy. But what is your experience with like working with him?
Well, I love working with Stephen A. Smith because he's a funny guy to work with. He brings a lot of energy, and he's going to come after you. He's going to come after you. So you better, when you come on the show, you better, know what you're talking about. You better bring it, or he's going to try to get you. He's going to try to embarrass you. So, every time I'm on First Take with him, we always have a unique chemistry, a unique energy. And, that's the whole thing, man. TV is first and foremost entertainment, and that's our whole thing is we want to entertain, we want to inform, we want to have good discussions. So, other people out there will want to have, those type of discussions. So I have a ball on there. Everyone on there is great. And, it's one of my favorite platforms.
Let me ask you this before we go. I have a couple more things before I let you go, but thoughts on my Dallas Cowboys this offseason so far?
I think the Dallas Cowboys, I think they're looking pretty good. I have some questions on the defensive side of the football. That was the side of football that kind of slacked off some from 2018. Yeah. But when you pick up a CD Lamb, they got to replace Travis Frederick, who's a Pro Bowler, at the center position. A key cog in that position. I know they drafted a kid out of Wisconsin to be his, to be his replacement. But the Dallas Cowboys are a talented football team. And to me, if the Dallas Cowboys are going to get to the playoffs and they're going to make a run, first and foremost, it's going to be Mike McCarthy getting guys in the position, and Dak Prescott is going to have to take it up another notch. If you're going to be a franchise quarterback, then sometimes you got to put an organization on your back. If you want to get paid, $35 million plus, to me, that's what is expected of you, to be able to put teams on your back when it is necessary, because they have all the weapons.
Yeah.
Okay, they got the weapon. They got Zeke. They got Amari. CeeDee Lamb. They got all the guys. But now you got to put it all together. Can't be any more excuses.
Yeah, that's true. So actually, we have a couple questions here for you. So there's this kid, actually his name is Global Kid Media. You should check his page out after this. He's 13 years old. He's already interviewed 1,000 people at his age, which is amazing. He wants to be in the sports industry. So he's asking, do you see like a first a kid being a sideline reporter in any sport?
Do I see a kid being a sideline reporter?
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. What you see a lot of time in television is you see some type of, it's like a meritocracy. Mm-hmm. One thing about TV is very hard to break in. It's very hard to break in, but once you're in, you can have a long career in television. So, I tell everyone, try to perfect your craft, and don't get down if initially you might get turned away, because there's just not many jobs in television in front of the screen. So just keep plugging away. Your time will come and will be there.
Mm-hmm. So the next question here, my friend Julian, he's a huge Jet fan. He said, "Who were your favorite guys on the Jets team?"
Oh man, I can't pick one. There's so many guys. My time with the Jets was special. Man, we had some really good teams. I would say the guys I was close with was the offensive line. Nick Mangold, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, Alan Faneca, Brandon Moore. Those are my guys, man. So, I can't pick one, but if I'm going to pick a group, that's my group. Those are the guys I ride with.
And also, my friend Bobby, who I mentioned earlier, he's a huge Patriots fan. He asked you, who was the hardest player to block?
Wow, I played, one of my former teammates, I had so many battles with this guy, Richard Seymour, what we call Big Cat. He was long, athletic, strong. And so by me practicing against him, it made game day easy, to be honest with you. So I got to give a shout out to Richard Seymour.
Interesting. So before I let you go, I got a couple rapid fire questions for you. And favorite food?
Lasagna.
Favorite hip hop artist now and old school? Now, who's let's see. I'll say probably Drake right now in old school, Biggie. Biggie, yeah. For me, it's the same. Biggie, and then my current is Drake, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Meek Mill. Favorite thing to do outside of your favorite thing to do outside of now, what you do now?
I would probably say, man, just I just spend time with my family, man. So like my kids, particularly my boys, man, going fishing, just doing stuff with my kids.
I actually, what? Speaking of family, I saw your video, the dance video you did on TV. They put it on TV, I think, on Get Up. You guys were doing a TikTok dance, right?
Yeah, we were kind of. We saw we saw LeBron family do it, and then we were like, okay, well we're gonna bust out ours, and it was great, man. It was on TV. Everybody was like in this. About it. Was like, man, you guys, really did a good job. So we'll probably throw something on TikTok again very soon.
Favorite sports movie?
Remember the Titans.
Yeah, I've been getting that a lot on the podcast. Favorite non-sports movie?
Wow, man. Favorite non-sports movie? Boy, I'm gonna would say Goodfellas.
Favorite memorable game you played in?
How can I go against Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I can't, those games. And I would say as far as the Jets, probably I always talk about when we played the San Diego Chargers in the playoffs. I love that game.
Thoughts on this Michael Jordan documentary so far?
I love it, man. It just, my thing is, I've always said fans want to get a sneak peek behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me is, I grew up in the 90s era of basketball. So to just get this sneak peek of what the Bulls were like behind the scenes is fascinating.
Yeah. So I've been asking this question to all my guests that's been on the podcast, and about the late Kobe Bryant. I've been getting their own, because he was one of my role models growing up, watching him play for the Lakers. Mm-hmm. And I've been getting everybody's perspective of what they meant to each of them. So what did Kobe mean to you, and what does Mamba mentality mean to you?
Well, I think, Kobe, man, the one thing I appreciate about Kobe is that it didn't matter what area, what chapter in his life he was in. He went 100 miles an hour with it. Whether it was basketball, his post-basketball career with his family, with television. Yeah. This man went 100 miles an hour. And I think that's the thing that I appreciate the most about Kobe. And that's, to me, the Mamba mentality is like, there's no excuses. Go out there, make it happen any way possible. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Because the one thing that myself or anybody should never want is regret. Don't ever regret not giving it your all. Mm-hmm. I think Kobe is a great example of a guy who really excelled in really everything that he put forward to himself.
Yeah, well said. And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the frontline people?
Oh, absolutely. I'm very appreciative and thankful for all the frontline people who are sacrificing and putting their lives, on the line for everyone out here. And, this is an unbelievable job and task that they're doing. And, I'm always appreciative of those guys, because it takes a great amount of courage to put yourself out there like that. So thank you.
Yeah. So, and also, actually, my cousin and I, we started a GoFundMe page last weekend for all this things happening right now for the frontline and the local food businesses. So the bio is in the link. If you can go check it out, if you don't mind, when you get a chance and donate.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out after we hang up.
Okay. And so thank you. I just want to say thank you for coming on the podcast. This has been an honor. You're one of the greats. So here he is, the great Damien Woody, two-time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots, played with the Lions, Jets, and now he does some great stuff with the ESPN, Get Up, First Take. So everyone go follow him on Twitter, Instagram. I'll be posting this interview on all social media formats, so everybody keep an eye on this on Twitter, Instagram. But I just want to say thank you. You and your family stay safe.